Hey, what's up, guys? Your boy OG Black. Smash, like, subscribe. You know, like I told you, I've been sitting back watching YouTube, watching other guys, on YouTube, tell you guys that they're bringing the news first to you, that they're bringing into you something that nobody's told you about. Now, this interview I did right here with my boy OG Shadow, it's almost a year old, guys. I've been telling you about the movements that have been going on in California and across the United States, not only here and in Mexico. In this video, I will prove that I told you guys that MENCHO's men had been taking over mostly Sinaloa spots in California. If you guys notice, MENCHO has been a grand rise in the mafia world. He's risen faster than any other cartel member has in the history of Mexican cartel violence. Your boy OG Black doesn't like to brag, but does like to point out the inconsistencies and people always talk about. You guys are really good at pointing little minor things out, but not pointing out the good things. Remember, content is really important. Cartoons and history channels and regurgitating Google News is one thing, guys. And I apologize that I do not make cartoons and I do not regurgitate news. I try not to. Some say, well, I'm a journalist and I'm going to do this. Well, I'm going to use that excuse now, too. I'm going to be a journalist, guys. I'm going to be now a journalist. OG Black no longer is a former member of anything. He's a journalist. So I hope you guys enjoy this. People are talking about, what's going on with the loyalties and stuff like that. Breaking news that nobody knows about with the Mexican mafia. This interview was over a year old and I was giving you guys this news. Fresh off the printer. Hope you guys enjoy it. It's your boy OG Black. Check it out.
You guys today, I'm bringing back a guest we've had on here, and I introduced Sean too. Sean had him on. Homie's got lots of good information. He's well researched, well educated, and well spoken. So I hope you guys have on that like, click on the subscription, notifications.
Check out how I point out how Jalisco was taking over all the Sinaloa's things, and just like they reported today, breaking news, my ass.
I wanted to bring in the perspective today something, really important that people aren't really speaking on that's happening. So throughout the country right now, the loyalties of the street gangs and so on and so forth are changing. They're going towards the people from Jalisco because they're the ones who are gaining control. Is this what's happening more or less?
Yeah. Well, before the things that's been going on, before the little structure changes and things, most Southern Hispanics, they were MA or non-MA affiliates, depending on where you lived at. If you lived in LA or Orange County before, or Southern San Diego or all of San Diego, you're getting your drugs usually from two places, from Sinaloa, and mostly the guys from San Diego were getting it from Tijuana, but LA and Orange County was always getting it from Sinaloa. But recently, most street gangs...
When you say Tijuana, sorry to interrupt. When you say Tijuana, so the people know you're talking about the area on a Felix cartel as well, right? When you say Tijuana, or what do you refer to?
Yeah, when I say Tijuana, I reference the Ariano Felix cartel because Barrio Logan, and them have that really great relationship, and they always have from back in the 80s. So that's why they have that plug. San Diego does, but
only OG Black can bring you that kind of news because I've worked on both sides. Don't forget that.
Jalisco is
not just for one guy.
A major player.
Remember, I'm a real motherfucker.
Orange County, San
both
Diego,
sides.
Bakersfield, and that's just in California that I know of from my own experience and from what I'm hearing from other people. Because I've been out of the game now for a couple of years, about 3 or 4 years now. But I still talk to people, and people, my friends talk to me. So, Jalisco is definitely making a move on the street gangs, and the loyalty is starting to tend to go to them now.
Of course, yeah. They have, whoever controls Mexico usually has control of the street gangs in the United States, because they have control of the supply of the dope, And that's what the money's about, as you well know. This is crazy how fast things are changing. It's amazing. That it just happened overnight. I'm saying there's a new boss and new people in town, and it's a closed book. So have you heard of anyone holding out or anything like that, or anything going on? Or
well, a lot of the street gangs the thing is that Sinaloa had been in power for so long, and a lot of the street gangs in LA, or I just use LA as a reference, Orange County, LA.
You put out there, big dog.
They started getting.
You put out, hey homie, you put out there. You were talking about a lot of the street gangs that cut off.
Oh, all right. Well, a lot of the street gangs before they picked up a lot of amount of dope. Their connects were from Sinaloa, but with all the recent indictments and stuff like that, Jalisco's been able to get a little advantage in the dope game because they're under the radar for the DEA. Even though MENCHO's on the radar now, his organization was able to stay under the radar for a long time because they switched names so many times, so they were able to slowly sneak into power, and as an ex-dope dealer, I'll tell you this much: you don't really want your connect burnt, and you don't want a DEA tail, because you get a DEA tail, you get an FBI tail, and you say you're legitimately working fine, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, you ain't on the phone, you're not doing all those things, and because of your fucking compadre, you get fucking busted, you know what I mean? Because he's hot.
Right.
Because he's hot, and that's what Jalisco's advantage is. Well, it's not anymore because the DEA and everybody knows who they are, but that was their advantage for a long time, that they weren't as known organization, so the DEA and FBI had a really hard time knowing who their main guys were and where their organization was coming out of, And
you're right about that.
Things like that. Things are changing, though. Things are changing quick.
And then down here, it's changing as well too. Like I said before, I don't really have a dog in the fight. I'm gonna come up here in 10 years that I've been out of those types of activities and dedicate my life to legal. I was a purifier, and it's going well, man. And thank God. But I've seen this change going on in Mexico. That, like you said, the same thing that Jalisco cartels taking control of Jalisco cartels. And it's crazy because even where I live, it's like the last places that kind of has held out. But I travel. I have family members and in-laws and stuff. I go visit them, and I see that these other places are under their control. And it blows my mind, how fast things change. And that's just how it is. And the people who live that life, and they're in that life, I hope they get out of it. Because as me and you discussed before in the videos, the one thing, the things that can get out are death, the hospital, and prison. That's all they get out.
Guaranteed. Those are guaranteed. You're going to get one or the other.
You got to get out of any lottery in your life. It's 100% that you'll get one of those three things. 33% chance, all right? Depending on your activities. That's a 33%. It's 103. So check this out. My man here, he was in the game for a very long time. He learned his lesson the hard way, as well did I. And his opinion is very valuable to me. And I wanted to ask you, brother, has the violence increased, what you've seen on like a street level? Or was it kind of like a bloodless takeover? What do you think? What do you think happened there?
Well, for any Mexican, Chicano, or Southern Hispanic, they're always going to be controlled by the ME. So whatever carnales or bosses are in charge of the dope game, the violence is always going to increase due to the price war. The price war started will always increase any violence. Right now, that I want to bring up a good point. A lot of people are happy all over the world that Chapo is in jail,
Right.
But now that Chapo is in jail, it has caused a lot of destruction all over the streets of all over the world. Not just in the U.S., not just in Mexico, not just in Great Britain, but everywhere. Because whenever there's an empty space, there's someone willing right away to fill up that space. And when that happens, there's a lot of violence. And
yes,
since people Mexico is a number one fucking example of how the violence increased. This year, it's been the most bloodiest, and fucking God knows when. My mom told me, she goes, I've never seen Mexico so bad in so long. And I said, yeah. So the vacancy and the violence, Jalisco and Sinaloa and these different cartels, they all have different ways of doing business. The Sinaloa men tend to be more honorable, more gentlemanlike. They tend to deal with the problem directly. If me and you made a deal, Shadow, and I burnt you or you burnt me, you killed me or I killed you. I didn't mess with your mom. I didn't mess with your kids. I didn't mess with your grandkids or any of that stuff.
Right.
But things are changing now. People's morals and standards are changing. Their ability to make good decisions because they're on drugs, because they're drinking, because of whatever. So the violence has increased, and the moral standard and the moral has changed. Has changed for everyone. Even me as a Southern Hispanic gang member, I have a code of ethics. I don't whack no kids. I don't whack no girls. I would never do anything like that. But there's always somebody who's willing to do it, Shadow.
Yes,
always somebody who's willing to do it.
Right.
You're
right about that. 100%. I wanted to ask you too, from your perception, the street gangs in the United States with everything that's going on, do you think a lot of them got broke down, or how do you think did they keep the same structure, or what do you think is the takeover? Because here, basically the same, they leave the same structure, they just knock off the head, put someone else in charge, they take advantage of already set selling points and so on and so forth that other group has. So they just kind of take over and knock off the main guy and assume the profit, start coming in. So is it the same over there? Did they break it down like that, or what? What do you think?
No, well, for us over here, when people start going to jail in Mexico, it starts becoming an inflation in prices, and prices start getting inflated all around because of the problem of transportation, communication, the lack of communication. For me directly, I remember one time, since my family's from Michoacan, in the year 2002 to the year 2005 and 6, the United States was going through a ephedrine epidemic. The United States took the ephedrine off the market because they found out that you could make meth out of it. But since I had family members in Michoacan who were cooking it, I had it directly, and I was able to get a pound for the price that people were paying for an ounce, But at that time,
and there's something ounces to a pound 16, right?
Yeah. So at that time, I was getting at that time I was responsible for 10 pounds every 2 weeks, which is about 5 kilos 5 kilos every 2 weeks, or 10 kilos every month, right? And I had people coming from almost 6-7 hour drive because there was no methamphetamine in the state of California, and I was one of the only people who had an amphetamine-based drug that still looked like crystal meth, and it didn't look all wet and destroyed, because I was actually getting it directly from my family members. So the problem with what they've been having over here as in structure is that now it's okay to become an informant. It's okay to work your whole life and be a drug dealer, and then the moment you get popped, you make a deal with the DEA, you make a deal with the FBI, and you cop out a deal and you leave, So now drugs and doing business is starting to getting to the point where it's not even worth it for anyone, and it never has been. I want you guys to understand, it never has been, but it's just getting to the point where the violence is just too much. It's just too much.
Right? In Michoacan, I didn't really have any connections. Would you like to speak on what's going on there? Would you like to inform the people watching?
Okay, so since we're talking about MENCHO right now, I'm going to give people a little insight, and I don't know if anybody's telling. Shadow did a little thing on MENCHO. I'm going to tell you a little thing about MENCHO. Okay, or Seguerio. Okay, Mr. Cervantes. Mr. Cervantes is from Michoacan. He's originally from the hills. He's not from Jalisco. He was born in Michoacan. He was raised in Michoacan. Okay, his nickname is El Hombre de los Gallos, El Señor de los Gallos,
Right.
which means Mr. Cockfighter, Mr. Gamecock, Mr. Gallo, Mr. Rooster. Okay, because in the state of Michoacan, we like to fight roosters. We like our good roosters. We like our gamecocks. We like our hatches, our sweaters, everything. So that's why he's a big fanatic of roosters. Now, MENCHO, being from where he's at and the situation that he's in, he's getting a little tricky. The state of Michoacan right now is in an uproar. He's trying to invade the state of Michoacan, which is his hometown. But since he belongs to a cartel, which is his rival, his own people from his hometown won't accept him back in. So they're fighting tooth and nail in El Aguaje, in Morelia, in Apatzingan, in Tierra Caliente, all the border states by Jalisco, because Michoacan and Jalisco are border states.
Sure.
So MENCHO has a really good idea of how to get in and out of both states, because I'm going to give you guys another insight if you guys don't know. Before the Jalisco Nueva Generación cartel was formed, they were once the Valencia brother cartels, the Valencias, out of Michoacan. The Valencia brothers were kicked out of Michoacan for stealing lemon and avocado groves from people. They either told you want to sell it or we'll kill you. So the people of Michoacan got together and they got the Valencias out of Michoacan and they ran to Jalisco, because Jalisco has always been a safe haven for narcos. They can live there with no problems.
For everyone who doesn't know,
Watch OG Black dropping knowledge on Shadow, teaching that boy, putting him up on game.
Like lemon growth.
He didn't know none of that stuff.
And all the other agriculture, they basically put a tax, and they even caused shortages where they burn or just throw out crops.
I'm giving you guys a special. Check out those beautiful eyes.
Shortage. Well, cause a spike in the market. When the market price spikes up, they get rid of the real weight that saved the way. So
and Michoacan the Michoacan is one of the leading producers of avocado and lemons all over the world.
Damn.
So when the Michoacan Valencias were stealing the avocado and the lemon groves, they actually made an economic push, and the United States of America didn't like that. So the DEA put a RICO and whole indictment on them, and they fled to Jalisco. When they went to Jalisco, they had to pay a tax for being there.
Listen up.
And then they evolved into another cartel called Los Queenies. And the reason why they called themselves the Queenies is because in Spanish, cuñado means your brother-in-law, your family. So they were all family, and they called themselves the Queenies. And then at the end, old MENCHO met one of the Valencia girls and married her, and now he became a Valencia. When the Valencias went to prison, MENCHO took over. He got the place. He had the connects with the Colombians, and now he formed the Jalisco Nueva Generación, which is the new cartel that's standing out.
And they changed their name as well to Los Vacilos as well. They had, like you named, they changed their name like 4 or 5 times. Too many to really mention and explain. It's crazy. But
that's how they've been able to stay under the radar for the DEA for so long.
Yes, 110%, brother, on that. And that was some really interesting information that you just brought on with the brother and the brother-in-law and the information there about the Valencia brothers. That's very interesting to say the least, you know?
Yeah, the Valencias are very important people in the narcotic trade, like the Valencias, the Mesquas. They're all old-time drug. You just don't hear about them because they're not like Chapito, you know?
Yes, they're more low-key. They don't want to be on the radar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you have to really be out of the game if you want to be on media, YouTube, social media, etc., doing interviews. You really have to be out of the game because it'll catch up to you. You just think you're too smart or too this or too that. You really have to left everything behind and separated that life from your current life because people are watching and it will eventually catch up to you. A lot of people, like I said, they think they're smarter and this
All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that, man. This is some real deal. You know, OG Black always try to bring you guys the fire, the exclusive stuff, not stuff that you should know or that you can Google. This message was almost a year old, guys. You know, and people are saying that it's relevant now, and they're talking about it like, oh, no one's talking about it on YouTube. We were talking about it about a year ago, Shadow. Don't hate, brother. All right? It's your boy OG Black. Smash, like, subscribe. Check out my Patreon. We're rocking, baby. Let's go. It's Friday, baby. Get it.